I can't hear you anymore. Jenda.
Hello?
Now I can hear you.
Okay. Can you hear me? We are live. Welcome, everybody. Welcome back. What are you doing?
Hey, my keyboard.
Oh, dude,
I'm
can
switching
you
over to
can you notice a little something different about Jay here?
what you got going on here.
I mean, just like look at these arms. Are they a little different than before?
Uh, yeah, you're looking a little skinny. a little skinny.
It's because your boy's been working out,
Hitting the squat rack.
hitting that
What are you
squat.
What are you doing with Yeah, what are you working right now?
So I am rotating between squats, overhead press, or that's honestly just called the press, bent over barbell rows,
Hmm.
and I tried to do deadlifts the other day, but then I realized I probably shouldn't because I might crash through the
Yeah,
floor. So
that's loud as fuck. I can't imagine someone that was deadlifting above me.
I
In
don't
my
drop I don't drop the weights though. Like most people,
you gotta get a nice tap though. Nice
that's
little tap on there.
and I only got one plate on there, so it's not like there's two clanking around. But
That's how you.
I had the bright idea today. Out there's a deck with a cement balcony, and that's definitely load bearing because I live on technically I live on the second floor, but underneath me is parking garage. So I am still on like not the foundation, but the first level of apartments.
So you're gonna deadlift out there, out there.
Absolutely. So after this live session is over, I'm taking my barbell. You can see the outline of the yellow plate, like right.
Yeah,
Can't everything's mirrored
right
right
over
there.
there.
And I'm gonna take it outside on the balcony where you can't see because the light's flooded. Hold on, that makes it worse. And I'm gonna deadlift. I'm gonna deadlift on my balcony. I'm gonna get it on. Trying to get in shape, man. Gotta take advantage of this.
Can we do like a live of you deadlifting on your balcony?
We absolutely could, but I don't think anyone would want to see me deadlift. However, there are Twitch streamers out there that
Never
all
know.
they do is they live stream their workouts, which is the strangest thing to me. How there's a market for people watching Twitch streamers for that reason,
To work out, to
right?
watch them work out.
And it makes
I
me
wonder.
wonder.
Go ahead.
It makes me wonder, like, if that is a viable market, like, if that's a viable niche, it makes me wonder, like, what other niches are out there. And then I start wondering, how could these like markets exist? And then I wonder even more, and I go, wait a minute, there's other companies out there that I don't think should exist that exist yet, like Arbonne, like Cutco knives, like Beachbody, like
Body.
Trip Rideshare.
Trip rides. It's kind of like that's a company that kind of sort of technically does it exist? Has anyone ever really taken a ride on trip rides?
The answer is I don't think so, but I don't know for a fact.
I don't really quite understand. Like they have all these and I guess they launched last year technically in Florida.
They did to
Well,
like the fanfare of the Miami Dolphins.
to the fanfare of the Miami Dolphins in like this ridiculous video
Ridiculous.
where they're kind of calling like the first ride, and it's just like it's trip rides is just like the most ridiculous thing I think in the rideshare industry, perhaps, which is saying a
I
lot.
I'll tell you what. When I first heard of trip rides, and this was before I even started working at Gridwise, I knew immediately what it was. I knew it was a multi-layered marketing business, an MLM. Now here's the thing that most people get confused about. They think because MLMs are inherently a little bit, what's the word? I don't want to say shady. Obs,
Scammy.
I don't want to say scammy either. Obfuscated. They're opaque. Okay, they're opaque. They're not transparent about things, right? That a lot of people think that, oh, because they're like this, they have to be all be scams. Because I've heard everyone's heard of pyramid schemes. Who hasn't heard of pyramid schemes? Everyone's heard of pyramid schemes. So they naturally assume that all MLMs are pyramid schemes, are illegal, are scams, but they're not. There are plenty of legal MLMs out there that operate to this day. You've probably heard of them, like Cutco Knives, the ones I just listed.
What have you ever gotten hooked in by a pyramid
Almost. When I was in my high school days, I almost sold Cutco Knives. I went to one of their meetings, and they were like,
they really prey on like the
high schoolers,
like the high schoolers and kids just out of high school.
Yeah,
They
you can
really-
make $17 an hour or something. I'm like, man, that's great money
Yeah.
back then. And then they hit me up with like oh, by the way, it was basically let me sell you this knife set,
Yeah.
and then you had to buy the starter kit. So that's the thing. These companies are perfectly legal. It's when they become pyramid structured and they don't actually like pay out what they promise,
Pyramid structured.
then they become illegal. So there's it's like the case of bourbon whiskey, right? Not all whiskeys are bourbons, but all bourbons are whiskeys. Not all MLM companies are scams, but the pyramid schemed ones, the ones that are, I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm throwing myself for a loop.
Yeah, you lost me there about 30 seconds ago. I didn't know quite where you were going with that. I would say, MLMs are, let's say scam adjacent. Maybe that's a good way to put it. Some of the, I mean, I think like every MLM, to be a successful MLM, you have to get as close to being a complete ripoff as you legally can.
Right. I want to preface this by saying, even though they are legal, the big ones, the ones that are operating, the legal ones, right? I still don't think they are good companies. They are it's very shady. I hate that word, opaque. There's a high chance that you will not succeed and you will lose all your money.
Yeah, there's like a 99.9% chance that you're going to lose your money.
Just like a pyramid shaped structure, the ones on the tip top of the pyramid, these guys and girls make the most money. The ones on the bottom, the rest of the people that come in way too late, you're just feeding the top. But the reason why I brought this up was because we were talking about crazy things. How do we even get on this topic?
I don't know.
I mean, it was a canned topic, but we had a start and then I segged into it. I completely forgot how I segged into it. We were talking about deadlifting.
Yeah.
Oh, that Twitch streamers that stream themselves doing fitness. And then I segged into
It was a long road. It was a long road, but we got here.
Right.
Somehow.
So for those of you watching, if any company asks you to buy into their platform that you have to pay into before you can even start or make any money, it is a multi-level marketing company. Trip Rideshare.
If any like
or a scam.
Hey, ask you to buy something before you can start to sell stuff on commission, then it's probably a pyramid scheme.
Like
honestly,
jewelry.
If anyone like a jewelry
on Facebook.
You know what's big right now? Essential oils was big.
Essential
leggings were really big for a while.
Speaking of essential oils,
did you get that for our chemistry experiment that we were supposed to
do? We were supposed, for those Gridwisers out there that are watching, Brandon and I were supposed to make hand sanitizer today, but we failed on procurement of said items.
A little bit harder to get aloe vera than we anticipated, but live and learn. What are you doing there?
Huffing them essential lemon.
Family show. Yeah.
Supposed to be renewing. I feel renewed.
Yeah. Essential oils, leggings, really big. Yeah, jewelry all over the place. You'll see a ton of those. Knives, vacuums. I almost got I've had multiple run-ins where I've been like almost gotten with MLM. One time when I was in college, I used to work at a Petco for like a hot second. And,
that's so funny to me.
It's funny to me. I used to work at a Petco, basically fucking cleaning up fish. But this guy came in and he Well, this guy came in like months before. Like months before. I helped him, got him some fish or something like that, left. Hadn't heard from him. Then he came in like after that and he's like, yo, I really liked how you helped me out here. I think you got a lot of like potential and things like that. And I want to kind of talk to you about a job. So I was like a kid. I was like 19. So I was like, oh, sure, okay. It was also like something in finance. So I was like, oh, cool. I wanted to be an accounting major. I was an accounting major, so I thought it was like a good idea. So I drove out like maybe like 25, 30 minutes from my house.
Oh my.
Um,
They really got you.
Sat down with him. He starts talking, and like 7 minutes in, I'm like, fuck, this is a pyramid scheme. This is a pyramid scheme. But
Brandon, we need initiation from you, $200 to get your own knife set.
And you know who it was? It was Primerica.
I've never even heard of that one.
You never heard of Primerica? They're a big one. They're like a big one in like the financial industry. And what's hilarious is this guy still calls me every year to this day to see if I want to join the pyramid scheme.
He's still doing it?
He's one of the one percenters.
He's on top and he's making that cash.
Yeah, he's on top. He's on top there.
Oh man. Oh, I do have a story about a pyramid scheme that happened fairly recently, like 5 years ago. That's not really fairly recent, is it? But when you get to my age, that is fairly recent. 5 years ago.
You're like 30. Relax.
How you gonna expose my age to YouTube, to the internet?
Like 45 over here.
Well, maybe I am, but I'm at the gas station pumping gas with my friends. We had just gotten back from the water park. So it's just a couple dudes in board shorts, right? Looking like non-professional dudes.
Mm-hmm.
Up comes a gentleman, walks up. Hey, gentlemen, do you guys like energy drinks? How would you like to be your own business owner? And I'm like, is this guy for real? Look at me. I'm wearing like hot pink and neon blue colored board shorts. Do I look like I want to own my own business at this stage in my life? Like, no, I don't. So he's trying to sell me these energy drinks and try to sell me and my friends the prospect of like owning the business. And the best, he had his protege. He had someone who he suckered into underneath him to join under him. He was coaching this guy to be selling to us too. So it was legitimately the hardest thing ever to get out of, because I'll tell you what, he had no shame, and part of being a good salesman is to have no shame, I guess, because there is no social cue.
Part of being a good, MLM salesman, I think, would be having no shame.
And Ed just says no, but you did look like you would drink energy drinks. Oh, he's right. Sorry to cut you off. I just have to read it.
You do look like you just crush energy drinks.
Yeah, but what were you saying, Brandon?
I forgot, but like Trip Rides is kind of in the same boat there. Definitely, like they were
100%
with them. I don't know if I remember it correctly, but essentially, like you have to pay basically like a monthly or a yearly fee to start to essentially kind of be on the list of drivers.
$200.
$200. What, a year?
No, $200 a month.
But they hadn't launched.
Nope.
They weren't going to launch for like 6 months. So they wanted you to sign up to get riders on the platform and pay to get riders on the platform.
How that makes sense in like a business mind is that you could think of that $200 flat, like that fee, as all of the service fees that Uber charges you anyways. Uber and Lyft take a cut, right? So what they're saying is, we'll charge you this flat fee monthly as our cut, and you keep the rest of your trips, all of the earnings, right? So mathematically that made sense, but if you really think about it, that is the essence, the essential oil, the essence of a MLM. I don't want to say pyramid, because not all MLMs are kind of like pyramid-y, or are they? But an MLM means you pay into the system. So you are the customer. If you are the customer, if you're paying into something, you are the customer. In this case, for Trip Rideshare, the drivers are the customers. You pay the fee to get on the platform, which doesn't exist. That's why it's like borderline. That's why it's actually a scam. That's like Trip that wasn't even on the level of like Arbonne. Arbonne at least has products. Trip had nothing. Okay, they just collected money. They just scammed people.
They were like making the app forever.
Yeah.
Forever.
I mean, they have the app.
Making the app.
but no one uses it.
They launched it, and then
It doesn't work.
Yeah, I don't know. It was wild. You're right. They like essentially had nothing.
And the best part is, if you wanted to collect as a pyramider, if you wanted to get in on the scheme, you also were the customer. You had to pay the influencer fee for the corporate packages, right? So there was like $150 flat fee or something, a one-time fee that you pay that allow you to collect anybody else that you refer. So like there were levels upon levels of crooked schemes going on at this company, which is a real company.
But that's also kind of like the MLM is like always going to be designed to be confusing as possible, so that you don't really understand all the rules and you're just kind of mindlessly trying to jump up. And it's kind of, I mean, if I'm like a diabolical, just kind of an evil person, targeting like the rideshare industry makes a lot of sense, because a lot of people jump the rideshare because they need money, right?
Exactly.
They need some extra income.
One of the things I said in one of the videos, so before Gridwise, I ran my personal YouTube channel, and one of the videos I made back then was on Trip Rideshare, exposing them as like, drivers, open up, be smart about this. You're gonna get scammed out of your 300 odd bucks for no reason. And one of the key points I made was how disgusted I was that these people are targeting some of the most vulnerable workers in our society. Mm-hmm. Like you just said, Brandon, why do people rideshare? You have one of two groups: those who do it for fun, those who are early adopters, the ones that got in early, right? This is a new thing, it's hip, it's cool. And then the ones that are forced to do this, the ones that have no other means of income. This is your last leg of survival. The ones who need the money the most. And these are the people they are preying on. And there's nothing more sinister than I could think of than preying on those vulnerable individuals and taking advantage of that. It is pure evil, and it's disgusting. And I can't say this because we're on a Gridwise Live, so I'm not going to say it. But there needs to be something done about it. That's all I'll leave it. There needs to be something done about it.
I'm curious what you were going to say.
I can't, because, this is a company-sponsored podcast.
Talk to me about that later. But, I definitely, I agree with you. It's like really sleazy to, obviously a lot of drivers, drivers drive for a lot of reasons. Like flexibility is huge for drivers.
Huge.
In good times, you can make a decent income. You have flexibility. You can do your thing. If you want to do a side job, if you want to kind of do it in between jobs, or if you're an entrepreneur, like a lot of people do that. If you're trying to focus on other things, a lot of reasons to be a driver, but definitely one of the reasons is sometimes people just get jammed up. They get stuck, and they need, something to kind of just get them through a rough patch.
Absolutely.
And that's like, that's real where MLMs in general try to get people, is people that are going through rough patches. Actually I was reading, because I like
in high schoolers.
Yeah, in high school. I hate MLMs like with a burning passion, and so I've read like a lot about them. And one of the things that forgetting the name of the really big one.
Vector.
No, Herbalife.
Herbalife. There's the one I forgot. That's a big one. Herbalife. I see it all over Facebook, man. Especially when the ladies get to mid 30s, like early 30s, mid 30s. Because I'm that of that age group, and I know, like, I look at my Facebook, all the high school girls that are of that age, dude. I'm seeing them on my feed. They
get caught up.
Well, before I join all the rideshare groups, because all I see now are just Uber and Lyft and DoorDash, because I'm in like 100 groups.
We're in all the groups. But yeah, Herbalife, they're targeting like Latin America and like South America, like poor countries now, so that they can just like trick these people, because they see that as like a clear market, because people in the US and Europe and things like that are getting wise to them. So it's common for them to prey on people that maybe need that help. So if you need money, you're going to be more susceptible to that message of, hey, earn some quick cash. So it's obviously very unfortunate that, Trip Rides is targeting rideshare drivers. And I think there's a couple others that are targeting rideshare drivers now. So,
well, they apparently formed a new company But before we get too deep in the weeds here, I just want to open the question up to our viewers. Have you, those of you watching, have you ever experienced MLMs? Have you ever worked for an MLM? There's no shame if you have. What do you think about MLMs in general? Have you heard of Trip Rideshare? For those of our viewers who are rideshare drivers, I'm sure you have. They're all over. They recruit an army of influencers to spew their BS. But here's the thing. So their CTO, Taha Abbasi, left the company. So when he left the company, he did an expose, which we will link right here. And you can take a look in the description and kind of watch it and formulate your own ideas about what's going on here. But let's just say Taha didn't leave on good terms, and he kind of like revealed a lot of intriguing, possibly illegal activities going on. But possibly, I don't know. I ain't a lawyer. That's just what I read. That's what I watched on his live stream. It's a 3-hour video. I'll link it in the description, and I'll link it in the chat here soon. But yeah, that's why I want rideshare drivers to take a look at, so you can formulate your own opinions, make your own decisions, and most of all, be armed with knowledge.
Be armed with knowledge. Keep a lookout for these kind of schemes. Is just like, you just want to make sure that you have a pretty clear path to positive ROI. And a lot of times,
what's ROI? I know, but just for our viewers,
return on investment. You want to make sure that you're actually making money from the money you put down. And yeah, like if it's too good to be true, a lot of times it is like this. And
dude, yeah, money don't grow on trees. Like,
yeah, it's like there's not a company in the world that would have their business model be just, well, we're just gonna like charge less if they don't like really have to.
Mm-hmm.
And that's essentially what Trip Rides was like doing. Is like, okay, we're just gonna charge drivers less. And that just doesn't really make sense. It
makes no sense. If there's a company that's already doing this like well, called Uber, and they can't even do it for less, what makes you think you could do it for less?
Yeah, how would those economics like work out?
They simply don't.
They don't.
Mm-hmm.
So you gotta watch yourselves, because I would suspect even we're probably gonna see a little bit of a recession here, and that's a lot of times where the MLMs really kind of come out and try to prey on folks. So keep a lookout these next couple months,
and also keep us on the know too, because we want to know, we want to keep on top of these. You can do that by leaving a comment on our YouTube videos. You can do that by writing to support@gridwise.io, or leaving a comment on one of our blogs that how many will we drop? Like 3 or 4 blogs a week, Brandon?
Yeah, we drop like 3 or 4 blogs a week. We're gonna hit 4 this week. We just try to react to like everything that's going on. So
oh, let's talk about Uber, because it's always fun to talk about Uber.
Uber's always doing something.
Always do something. Uber spent $19 million on coronavirus financial assistance for drivers.
$19 million.
19 bajillion.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about this is I see this headline, not like a ton, but a little bit, in some of the news outlets and things like that, CNN, Reuters, and such. I mean, I guess like, yeah, you spent 19 million on essentially like PPE, but what's Uber's market cap, like $30 billion or something like that?
I think it was.
I don't know. Let's look this up real quick. I don't want to know. Uber's market cap is $60.39 billion. On
like now
on $14.15 billion in revenue last year. So $19 million really is nothing.
Like yeah, in the grand scheme of things, that's a drop in a bucket. So I don't really want to hear about, and I'm not necessarily trying to completely trash Uber. I don't think we need to just completely trash Uber for every single thing they do, but I also really don't think we need to necessarily just praise them for
every single thing they do. And it's $19 billion that they spent, which is going to go up. So I imagine next quarter when they release their earnings, you're going to see, oh, Uber gave $50 billion. Yeah, it's going to happen. At least 50 billion. You're going to see that, but it's just not that impressive given, how many drivers do you have? How many drivers are on the Uber platform, you think, worldwide?
I know in the United States and Canada that number is 1.3 million drivers, which still blows my mind that there are that many rideshare drivers.
I think there's more, actually. I'm pretty sure there's more, and I would say maybe let's say,
I think at the start of the industry, like before coronavirus, there was like not even like 2 years ago. I would say like when I started doing rideshare, there was about 2 million.
2 million.
Yeah,
okay.
But I'm reading it could be more, but I'm reading here 1.3 million, and they're saying that half the 19 million was paid out to just 12,350 drivers. With the average, the average driver receiving about $650. I don't think we've ever opened that question up to the Gridwise community. How many Gridwisers here have collected sick pay from Uber or Lyft?
I know there's a couple. I've really early on, actually, I had a driver email me and say they got sick pay from Lyft, which is. But back then, in these programs have changed so much, right? They have gotten better, but they're still not amazing. But Lyft back then, like early March, you could only get 1 week of sick pay if you contracted it. So this guy had to go through the entire process of obviously getting coronavirus.
It's not funny, but it is a little funny.
You have to go through the process of getting coronavirus and then getting tested, sending it into Uber, all that stuff. And then he got 1 week of sick pay. 1 week of sick pay. He actually had it. He got 1 week of sick pay.
How much was that? Just like
it was like $600, something like that.
Oh my. That's nothing.
Not a ton. So yeah, I mean it's I think these policies, as like all the companies, Uber, Lyft, but also DoorDash, Instacart, etc., as they've gotten pressure, they've improved their policies quite a bit. But I think that I think that there can still be some improvements made there. So
let's talk about our favorite Uber, Lyft, and gig economy YouTubers. Should we talk about our favorites? Not favorites. We don't really have favorites, but we have a couple that we want to shout out, don't we? I'm not talking about. Don't worry, I'm not talking.
I don't know. What do you?
I think we should shout out the Rideshare Professor for his success on his other channels. He had a whole set of live streams that we were participating in yesterday when I was watching. And Rideshare Professor has done it. He has hit 1,000 subscribers on his third channel. So congratulations.
He's got 3 channels, right?
He's got 3 channels. This guy's hustling. Rideshare Professor Torsten, he's talking about real estate. He's talking about
okay. He's
selling, auctioning cars. Like he's
branching out.
He's branching out, dude. This guy is
He's hustling. I see a lot of the Uber YouTubers are branching out into other things, which I got mad respect for. Mm-hmm. So you gotta keep hustling. You gotta
keep hustling. So
can we shout out?
Go ahead.
Rideshare Professor. Can we shout him out? Everyone, check out his.
Shout out to Rideshare Professor. Go check out all 3 of his channels.
All 3. You gotta hustle. Part of being a rideshare driver and delivery driver is like hustling
and I'll tell you what. Who else is hustling? Guess who else is hustling out there on the YouTubes?
Who?
Steph on the Pedal.
Steph on the Pedal.
Steph on the Pedal is hustling. She started YouTube with a couple videos about Lyft and about Uber, I believe, and then a little hiatus, and then all of a sudden coming back with a vengeance, just slinging those videos. I mean, we're talking about channel growth astronomical. She went from like sub 1,000 subscribers to, let's take a look right now. I'm actually right here on YouTube. I think she's over 20K subscribers right now. So she is
Wow.
making a lot of relevant delivery Instacart videos, making some DoorDash how-to videos. Just all in all, really super relevant topics, because what do our data show, Brandon, about those things I just mentioned?
Instacart drivers are crushing it. Instacart drivers right now making more than Uber drivers with less expenses. So much less in terms of expenses. So making a killing right now. Instacart drivers, Ship drivers, DoorDash drivers, Postmates drivers, everyone crushing it right now.
And
from a delivery standpoint,
yeah,
but also like some rideshare drivers that are still on the road are actually making a lot of money.
Yeah, delivery is, that's the pivot that you have to adapt to, because let's be honest, ain't nobody looking for rides. Okay, people looking for groceries.
Hold on there. Actually, a lot of people are looking for rides. You're starting to see some demand pick up. I think we talked about this last week. Maybe not. You're definitely starting to see demand pick up. And
demand's picking up. Okay.
The fact that there aren't many drivers out on the road actually is meaning that the earnings are ticking up. That's just weird. I kind of did this thing here.
Yeah, that was. I was wondering what you're doing out of the corner of my eye.
Pay no mind to that. But driver earnings are actually ticking up because demand is picking back up. Slowly but surely. But the thing is that there are not that many drivers on the road. But the drivers that are still on the road are reaping the benefits. But also, the cool thing is now drivers are opened up to so many more options. And I feel like everyone is starting to take advantage of Instacart and the Uber Eats and the Postmates and things like that. So you're not so saturated on one platform. You can really kind of look and see, hey, when's the best time for me to, be doing what? So that's kind of really cool to see as well.
And while we're on the topic of these delivery companies, did you know that they bully restaurants?
They bully restaurants?
They charged them exorbitant fees. I think Uber Eats takes like 30% of whatever revenue that they generate for these restaurants.
They take I don't know. I'm not familiar with the figures there.
So I've heard through the grapevines. The delivery services we all know are restaurant bullies, and they aren't helping much during this pandemic. Opinion piece. So, if you really want to help local restaurants, should you just order directly from the restaurant themselves for pickup? Do you really have to go through Uber Eats or Grubhub?
I mean, for our sake, I think for drivers' sake, yeah, go ahead and use Postmates.
For our sake.
Postmates and Uber Eats.
For our sake, use Gridwise, please. If you want Brandon and Jay to continue doing podcasts for your entertainment.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Like, that's a hard question because, obviously, like Uber, like the reason that restaurants on the platform isn't just because, I want someone to deliver for me. It's because I want like marketing more than anything. And so I think that's something to think about. And then obviously like the drivers that are getting kind of paid from this, they're not Uber Eats and things like that. What I will say is see what kind of pressure that people can put on them to increase like the overall driver pay, and also like increase some like the tips that people are leaving. I think that's always good to like leave more tips and give people make it easier, or I guess more automatic for people to tip more. I would like to see that. And then like overall like driver earnings on these delivery platforms increase. But yeah,
that's the main thing, driver earnings. I'm sure they can afford a little bit of margin, a little bit of leeway to give drivers. All I'm asking, just give $1 more.
Did we talk about Uber buying Grubhub last week?
We did talk about the offer. Wait, did they actually do it, or was it just an offer?
No, it's still they're still in talks. They're still in conversation.
Yeah, we did talk about it. I remember I was pretty peeved because that was the same week they had fired 3,500 employees.
And you're like, they got the money to buy.
Yeah, hey, sorry, we can't afford to keep you on, but we could buy a Grubhub for $30 billion or something. Well, how much was it?
I think like the price was, I think they were going to pay 25%. Well, so it is like a pure stock based deal. But I think they were looking at something like 25% over the like the current price. So I think it would end up being like $11 billion stock.
And I was peeved because it was like, yeah, it's not cash based, but like, why don't you just sell some of those stocks or give it away for some like less money and then give that money and retain your employees?
Yeah, I'd be interesting. I haven't heard much about because with the IPO last year, they gave a lot of stock away to drivers. Obviously, not like that much, but they gave some away. Yeah, I'd be curious to hear if they're gonna do some more of that.
Well, that's all we got.
Wow, that was an abrupt ending.
I'm sorry, but let's talk Memorial Day. Or is time up? Do we have more time?
No, I think we're good.
I hope everyone stays safe out there on Memorial Day. Sorry for the abrupt ending. That was kind of like terse, wasn't it?
That was very.
It wasn't even that's all, folks. It was just like that's it.
All right, well, let's wrap it up now that you said it.
All right, Gridwisers. This live stream happens every Friday between the hours and 2 or 4 p.m. apparently, because we can't keep to a schedule today because it was just like how things just happen. Like one meeting gets pushed and then the rest of your day gets messed up because every other meeting is pushed. So
yeah,
we tried, guys, but. Why am I looking? The camera's over here because normally I have my camera over here. The camera's over here today, so I'm like, hey, what's up, Gridwise? Okay, so every Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or was that 11 a.m. Central Pacific Standard Time? What is it in Central? 12 p.m. Central Standard Time, CST. Yeah, 2 hours. 1 hour.
What's your conversion?
Wait, you're 1 hour behind.
Yeah.
So you're Central because you're.
Yep.
So CST would be 1 p.m. Okay, guys?
Yep.
1 p.m. So, guys, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Tune in to Gridwise Live because next Gridwise Live, what are we doing?
We're making some hand sanitizer.
Getting our hands dirty. We making that tizer, baby. I already got one piece of the puzzle, the essential lemon.
I got no pieces of it.
Right. That's why we couldn't do it today because we couldn't. Dude, the craziest thing, I don't think I told anyone this. I went to the store. I couldn't find any aloe vera gel. I couldn't find any rubbing alcohol. But you know what was plentiful? And hand sanitizer. A real hand sanitizer was plentiful.
Wow. Yeah. But let's still make some.
Yes, because somewhere out there, someone wants to make some hand sanitizer.
Yep, for sure.
All right, Gridwisers, over and out.